Good morning, dear student. I hope you all are fine at your home. So now let us today we start our science class. Already you know that in the previous class we are discussing about the microorganisms and its classification. So broadly we are classified microorganisms into different five classes. First one virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae. So in that class we already discussed about viruses. Already we discussed about the how it is useful and how it is harmful for us. We already discussed about the advantage and disadvantage of viruses, how it is caused for the different type of disease in plants and animals. Now today in today's class we are going to discuss about the second class of microbes or a second class of microorganisms, that is bacteria. Now this bacteria is first we are going to discuss about the habitat, means what are the living places for a bacteria. So first one is a habitat. This is the another class of a microorganism. So as the virus, you know that the virus is found everywhere. So this bacteria is also found everywhere. It is also found in the soil, air and water. Even that it is also found in a human body in a plant body. So what is the habitat? Habitat, it is bacteria is found all around in a surroundings. So it is found everywhere, in soil, water and air. It is also found in a body of plants and animals. Means as like a virus, this bacteria is also found everywhere, even that in our body or in a plant's body or in a animal body. So habitat means it is found everywhere in the soil, water, air. It is also found in the body of plants and animal. Means all the places is occupied by the bacteria. Means the bacteria can also found everywhere in a surrounding. Now next about the size of a bacteria. What is the size of a bacteria? So there are the size of bacteria is varies from the 0.15 micrometer to 1.5 micrometer. So in between this the size of bacteria is lies. So second one is what? Size. So size of bacteria, it is varies from 0.1 micrometer to 1.5 micrometer. This micrometer means it is a unit for a length. Okay, it is unit for a length. So size of bacteria means is a micrometer means 10 raised to power minus 6. So it is from what? 0.15 micrometer to 1.5 micrometer. Means in between this the size of bacteria may be lies. Now next about the shape. Now bacterial body is found in a different shape. So we are going to discuss the different shape of a bacterial body. So it varies. There are varieties of body shape. Bacteria shows varieties in a shape, means that there are the different shape of a bacteria, means bacterial body can be found in a different shape. Sometimes it is found in a rod shape, sometimes it is maybe in a shape of comma, sometimes it is maybe in a shape of a rod like or a spiral shape, spring like. So there are the many different shape of a bacteria. We are discussing one by one. So first, spherical. Second one, rod shaped. Spiral. Or the last one, comma shape. This spherical shape, it is generally known as a cocci. This rod shaped bacteria, for example, lactobacillus, which is a help in the formation of a curd from a milk. Lactobacillus. So lactobacillus bacteria that is have the shape of a rod like shape. So bacillus. Spirulum. So these are the different forms of bacteria. Comma shaped bacteria, Vibrio cholerae. Vibrio cholerae, that the bacteria is responsible for the cholera. So that bacteria have the shape of a comma line, just like this comma shape. This comma shaped bacteria is responsible for what disease, cholera. Spiral shape means just like this spring shape, spirulum. Bacillus means just like this rod shape. This rod shaped bacteria is called what? Bacillus. Lactobacillus, which is found in a milk, which help for for the formation of curd from the milk. Cocci. So these are the spherical. So these are the different shape of a bacteria. Now next is what? Structure. So body organization of a bacteria is what? Bacteria is a unicellular organisms and it shows a prokaryotic organization of a body. So bacteria is a unicellular organism. So bacteria is a what? Unicellular organisms. Unicellular means what? Uni means one. So bacterial body is consist of only one cell, and it shows which type of organization? Prokaryotic organization. Prokaryotic means it have a primitive, simple body structure. Prokaryotic organisms means the type of organisms in which nucleus is not well defined. Means you can say nucleus is not surrounded by the nuclear membrane. Suppose that you see in a cell, this is the common cell and this is what? Nucleus. So this nucleus is water. It is surrounded by the water nuclear membrane. This is called what? Nuclear membrane. But in the case of prokaryotic cell, what happened? This genetic material only found in water scattered form. It is found in a scattered form. Means this nucleus is not surrounded by this nuclear membrane. So it lack of water nuclear membrane. And organisms in which the organisms whose body cell is composed of or surrounded by this nuclear membrane, that type of organisms is called what? Eukaryotic. So there are the two different type of organisms based on what? Organization of a cell. Means what type of nucleus? Either it is well defined. Well defined means what? The nucleus is surrounded with a nuclear membrane. Means this nucleus is surrounded by this double layer, that is called nuclear membrane. So if that type of cell is found in that organisms, so that is called the eukaryotic organism. Means advanced or complex organisms, higher order organisms. Or if the organisms in which the cell is only having this RNA or DNA genetic material in a scattered form, that is not surrounded by, means you cannot find it a nuclear membrane separately, lack of a nuclear membrane. So that type of organism is called a prokaryotic organisms, or that type of cell is called a prokaryotic cell. So there are the two different type of cell and two different type of organisms on the basis of a organization of a body structure. Prokaryotic cell and organisms who consist of that type of cell is called a prokaryotic organisms. Or you can say the primitive type. Primitive type is at the initial stage when the life is a start, or formation of life is started. So that a very simple type organisms, unicellular organisms, single cell organisms mostly consist of a prokaryotic organization of a body. And a higher order or high class organisms or advanced organisms consist of what? Eukaryotic organisms. So this is all about. So once again you go through this, then we discuss further. So everybody you go through this, and then next I rough it, and then I explain other thing. So now next we are discussing about the locomotion in a bacteria. So generally bacterial body consists of the whip-like structures for the locomotion. You know what is locomotion? Locomotion means movement, means how the bacterial body or bacterial cell is moved from one place to another place. So this movement from one place to another place is known as what? Locomotion. So for locomotion in a bacteria, a whip-like structure is found that is called a flagella. So simply you can say that the locomotion is taking place in bacteria, or it is done by the help of a flagella. So you can say that locomotion or that is called what? Flagella. So flagella and the cilia. Cilia is also a locomotive organ that is found in the paramecium. So finger-like projection. Generally you see if on the body of paramecium. Suppose that this is the paramecium, and you can find this smaller. The small finger-like projection, that is called what? This is called cilia. This is called what? Cilia. The cilia is also help in a locomotion. Means it's a locomotive organ in water. In a paramecium. It is found in the protozoa. But here in the bacterial cell, the movement or locomotion is taking place with the help of a flagella. This flagella is a weep-like structure. Suppose that this is a bacterial body and it has this weep-like structure. This is called flagella. This weep-like structure, that is called the flagella. So both this flagella and cilia have the same function, means it help in a locomotion or movement. But now structure is different. Okay, it is a weep-like, long weep-like structure, or it is a smaller. It is a smaller finger-like projection on the body of a paramecium. It is many in a number, but it is in a one or two in a number. So this is also a difference between the flagella and the cilia. Now next is the water nutrition. So the mode of nutrition that is followed by the, or that is followed by the bacteria, that is what a heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Means the bacteria is a heterotrophic organisms. You know what is heterotrophic organisms? There are the two different type of organisms: autotrophs or heterotrophs. Autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So autotrophic mode of nutrition means organisms that or animals or plant that can derive or synthesize their food by themselves. That is autotroph, self-synthesize. Or bacteria is heterotroph. Heterotrophs means it follows heterotrophic nutrition. So bacteria is heterotrophs. Means what? It follows heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Means this depends on a other cell. So now in this it is bacteria derive their food in a two basic way, different two forms. First one is a saprophytic mode of nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition. And another is, the second one is a parasite. Means what? These are the two different forms of the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Means either it is in form of saprophytic mode of nutrition or either it is in a form of a parasitic mode of nutrition. Now what is saprophytic? It's very clear. Saprophytes. Saprophytic mode of nutrition means the organisms which derive its food from dead and decaying materials. Means what? It derived its foods from dead and decaying organic materials. So that type of mode of nutrition is called the saprophytic mode of nutrition, and that type of organisms which follow this method for getting their food is called what? Saprophytes. So generally bacteria are what? Saprophytes, means they help in the decomposition of organic material. So if decomposition is done by the bacteria, so what? It is also useful. It is helpful or useful in a decomposition of organic material and forms water, humus, and that is useful for the increasing the soil fertility. So saprophytic mode of nutrition, type of nutrition. It's a type of nutrition in which organisms derived their food from dead and decaying material. Okay. So organisms which derive their food means that can prepare their food from water, dead and decaying material. Parasitic mode of nutrition means the organisms host cell. You know what is host cell? Host cell means the cell on which the bacteria is depends. So generally it is derived its food from the other cell. Suppose that bacteria enter into our body or in our cell, then it is start taking food from that. So this type of mode of nutrition is called what? Parasitic mode of nutrition. Okay. So this two different type of nutrition is shown by the bacteria. It followed by the bacteria. So generally bacteria is heterotrophic organisms, but it is so the two different forms of nutrition: saprophytic mode of nutrition and parasitic. Parasitic means depends on the host cell, depends on the other cell. Now next one is what? Reproduction. Now reproduction means what? How it is reproduced, how it is multiply, means how the bacteria multiply or how bacteria grow their numbers, how it is multiply their numbers. So bacteria generally multiply or reproduce by the method of binary fission. It is reproduced by the binary fission. Okay. So binary, you know, in a computer, this word comes in a computer. Binary numbers. Binary numbers means binary number means one and zero. Two digits is used in a computer language, that is called binary. So binary fission means what? To separate. So here means bacteria generally divide in two forms. Simply one bacteria, one parent cell is there, and that parent cell is divided into two similar cells along with the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Suppose that one cell is there. So slowly what happened? This cytoplasm and the nucleus is developed and start scattering and start separating. So slowly it is separated. Continuously the growth is taken place, and slowly it is separated from here, and it forms two different cells. These are the new cells or new organisms. This is called what? A parent cell or a mother cell. So in this way bacteria can multiply or reproduce. Okay. So this is the way by which bacteria can multiply or it can increase its number. Okay. I hope you understand. Everybody understood this all things? Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask to me. These all things are given in your textbook. So I hope you all go through the textbook. And we come to know that many students, even that they are not watch the video carefully. Even that they not started the video, not watch video of a previous class. So please don't do like this. This class is for you. We are doing all these things for you. So please don't waste your time in playing and simply for playing games and other things. Be serious about your class. Time is continuously passing. So be serious about your class, and time to time you update or complete your work. Don't leave the work for pending. Okay. So now just you go through this all things. Remind all these things, all the points. Then we next discuss about the advantage and disadvantage of bacteria. So as you see on the board, these are the I got here this 10 important usefulness of bacteria. Apart from this, also the bacteria is useful in many ways, but these are some important usefulness or importance or advantage of bacteria listed here. So now here we are describing or we can I can explain here one by one how it is useful in all these things. So first one, as you know that earlier in the previous class, at the starting, at the beginning of class, I told you that the bacteria or these microbes is the friend and the foe. Means it is in some way it's good for us, and another hand it also harmful for us. So there are the both things. Some are the bacteria, some are the microbes are useful for us, and some are what harmful for us. Means some way these are the advantages. There are the many advantages, usefulness of bacteria or microbes. Or on other hand, at the same time, it also harmful for in many ways. So some bacteria are useful for us. Some examples you can see this: Nitrosomonas, Rhizobiums, Clostridiums, Azobacter. These are the bacteria is useful for us, and many more bacteria which is harmful for us. So now first one is what? The making in a curd formation from the milk. So bacteria, the rod shaped bacteria, as I told you that the bacillus means lactobacillus. This lactobacillus bacteria, it is found mostly in water milk, and it help in the formation of a curd from the milk. So generally what happen? This bacteria, by the increasing the number of lactobacillus in the milk, slowly the taste of a milk change and it became sour in taste, and it change into the milk. So bacteria is helpful for making water, curd and cheese. So means it mostly it is used in the dairy product for formation of many dairy product. So it is usefulness for us. It is useful for us. Means by the means of by using the bacteria we can form the curd from the milk. If there will be no bacteria, such type of bacteria is not present on earth, or it is not present in our surroundings. So this formation of a curd is not possible from a milk. So it is useful for us. It means it's help in the formation of a curd from a milk. Second thing is decomposition. Means many bacteria found in the soil, so that help in what? Decomposition. Means they help in the decomposition of dead and decaying material. So many bacteria that resides or lives in a soil that help in a decomposition, or it can change the complex substance present in the organic substance or in a dead and decaying material and convert into the simple form, or it makes a humus that is useful for the this all the plants, and it can increase the fertility of a soil. So this bacteria is also useful for us. Next one is the nitrification. Nitrification means it is a process in which water, whatever the nitrogen is present in the form of a complex substance that can be converted by some bacteria into useful form. Suppose that protein, suppose that this protein is present. Protein is present in what? Dead and decaying dead body of animals and plant. So first this change into what? Ammonia. What? This protein, that protein is already present in the dead body of animals and plants. So directly that is not utilized by the plants or other organisms. So first it is converted into water, ammonia. So this process is called ammonifying. Okay. And after that it can convert it into nitrate, because you know that directly plants cannot utilize this nitrogen present in a protein. So first it is converted in ammonia. That ammonia again converted by the Nitrosomonas bacteria, and this is useful. This nitrate compound is useful for the plant. This directly plant can utilize this form. Directly this form cannot be utilized by the plant. So as you know that the same thing happen in the nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is also like this process. Some bacteria are found in the root nodules of plants. For example, rhizobium. Rhizobium is one type of bacteria which is found in the leguminous plants. Means the family of Leguminaceae. Leguminaceae means all the plants which give such pulses. जितने भी दाल वाले पौधे हैं, all that is come in a category of leguminous family. So in that root nodules, this plant, suppose that this plants, there are some root nodules. These are what? Root nodules. So in these root nodules, some bacteria lives in this root nodule. For example, rhizobium. So this rhizobium help in the water. It is help in the fixation of nitrogen. Means this atmospheric nitrogen, as you know that approximately 72%, most of percentage, large percentage of gases present in atmosphere, that is nitrogen. But it is useful, not useful directly by the plants. You know this atmospheric nitrogen is directly not utilized by the any plant. It should be converted into its compound in the form of nitrate or either in